So if you've been to the Big Thunder Railroad Mountain over at Disneyland, this here is going to be the wildest ride in the West. This is honestly 2 hours of material in 60 minutes. So you'll notice that I go relatively quickly through a lot of this information just because there's a lot of information. I did send out a list of websites as a part of the email kind of before the class comes. So I'll reference a lot of websites, but I'm not going to stay on those websites, or I'm not going to show every website. So just make sure you have that. There is one opportunity about a third of the way in the class where if you want to snap a photo, there's a bunch of information, and I'll let you know when we get to that. How many of you are new to the association but have a license maybe in another state? Anyone? Okay, got a couple of you. How large, Brian, you raised your hand. How large was the association you're coming from? You're muted, sorry. There.
It's a large association. I mean, okay. I don't know our total number of members, probably around 3,000, 4,000.
Okay. So everyone else, if you're new to the industry, raise your hand. This is always fun. Yay! You're crazy, by the way. Anyway, I'm just kidding. This is a lot of fun. It is a business that's built on relationships. So I'm gonna chime back into what Lisa was saying. Our affiliates are some of the best in the business. WeSERV vets our affiliates. They have to go through a pretty significant process to become an affiliate, and then to maintain their status and be allowed to sponsor our classes. It's just like, you can't just show up and pay. You've got to be a part of the association. So you need to connect yourself as a realtor with the right affiliates. So that's 2 or 3 lenders. That's maybe 1 or 2 title escrow companies. That's 1 or 2 inspectors. That's your home warranty people. We do have an entire booklet of affiliates if you're looking to make some of those connections. But I'll tell you, do you guys know how many credit hours you need every 2 years to recertify your license? It should be an easy one. Somebody chime in. I got to make sure you're awake. Anyone? Bueller? Okay, 24 credit hours. Yep, you need 24 credit hours every 2 years. And I'm going to encourage you, especially those who are newer to the industry, take those classes now. Don't wait till the end of the 2 years and then say, oh, if I would have known that at the beginning. You see what I mean? Take your classes now, make those connections with the affiliates, and start off on the right foot with real estate. Are there any initial questions you want to make sure that I touch on during the class? Anyone specifically? Make sure you unmute if you're going to ask a question, but I don't want to miss anything. If you came to class like, oh, I really hope he talks about blank. Anyone?
What?
Wow.
Okay.
I got a question.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to make sure that I know what forms you use. Like, is there software that programs that you use for contracts?
Yep. Okay. I will touch on that. We use our forms are approved by Arizona Association of Realtors. I'll show you how to access those. And everything is through something called Transaction Desk. So I will touch on that. Any other questions that you want to make sure you touch on? No?
One question from me, Derek.
Go ahead. Alan?
Yeah, Alan.
Alan.
A question is regarding the ethics class. As part of joining, does it have to have ethics in the title, or just tagged as ethics?
So what you'll see, if it's going to accomplish the NAR requirement for Code of Ethics, it will be promoted as such. So there is a class, there's a 3-hour class that's just called Code of Ethics. But there's also some classes that I teach and some other teachers teach that will accomplish other credit requirements while also accomplishing your Code of Ethics requirement. So for example, I teach a class called Don't Step in It, and it accomplishes 3 hours of agency, and it also meets the NAR's requirement for Code of Ethics. So you can take one class for 3 hours and get both of those met. That makes sense? So you'll see in the heading or in the summary for the class whether it does both or if it's just one.
Sweet, thank you.
Okay. All right, let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and throw the PowerPoint up here. I don't like to leave the PowerPoint up too long, especially in the morning when you guys like to doze off. So I'll come back and forth with the PowerPoint. All right. Let's get rid of this screen. All right, so people like to know that the person who's teaching class is not a rookie. So I've been in the industry since 2005. I've been a broker since 2009. I have a bunch of accreditations with the National Association of Realtor. I'm most proud of being the troublemaker, but I'm also a past president of WeSERV. And one of the reasons why I asked how those realtors who are coming from other associations, how large it was, and you heard Brian mention his association was pretty large at 3,000 members. One of the main reasons why WeSERV is able to provide you with significant benefits is because of the size. So you have economy of scale with WeSERV. WeSERV is about 23,000 members strong. We're larger than 5 other state associations. So when you have that kind of volume, not only is it good to offer classes with no cost, but when we need to have our voice heard, either at the local jurisdictions in the cities or in the county or at the state level, we show up with a pretty large backing of realtors, of industry professionals. So WeSERV's mission is one premier association. I'm sorry, that's the vision. The mission is to provide services that lead to member prosperity. So WeSERV's entire goal, the whole reason why they exist, is they are your local association here to make you as profitable and as successful and as knowledgeable as you can be as a realtor. Just so you know, while I'm teaching and kind of talking through the PowerPoint, it's hard for me to see your hands if you're raising. There is an icon button, so if you want to raise your hand, you can do that, or if you can unmute and just ask a question as I go. WeSERV has multiple chapters based on the size. We cover a lot of territory. So in the west side, we've got a full office with training facilities in Peoria. We also have the Chandler location, which is just off the 202 in Cooper. We have a Pinal office that's in Casa Grande. We also do a Sierra Vista chapter. So multiple chapters covering multiple territories, making sure that as we engage with our communities, we allow our realtors the opportunity to be one with those communities. Now, this is a fun part for me. All of you will need to unmute. This is how I make sure you're awake. And you'll see the realtor pledge on the screen. I do need you to raise your hand and recite this on the count of 3. It's funny for me because it sounds like a bag of cats. Okay, raise your right hand, unmute, and go ahead and start now.
I am
a realtor.
Myself to strive to be honorable and to strive to
golden
rule
rule,
serve well my
Serve
community
well my
and through
community
it.
and
abide by the realtor
Choose
code
to
of
abide by the
ethics.
realtor's
by the
code of
realtor's
ethics
Form
and
my
strive to
Abide by the
Strive to
realtor's
conform
code of
my
my
ethics.
conduct is
Aspirational
aspirational,
aspirational,
staunchly in
knowledgeable,
all
real
real
estate
ownership
by
to
the
widen
real estate
visual
ownership and to
of real
widen
estate
the
ownership
seek
and
better
to
to
widen the
represent my
Digital
clients by
right of real
building my
estate
knowledge.
represent my
ownership
clients
and
by building my
building
knowledge
to represent my clients by building my
to
knowledge
represent my
and
clients by building my knowledge and confidence.
See, bag of cats, totally perfect.
Hope
Go
you
ahead
had
and mute
fun.
yourself, because I know some of you got a phone call during the pledge there. So, okay, I'll move on. So first thing you need to know is there's only one A in realtor. So there is no realtor. It's just like there's no doctor. So make sure you're saying realtor right. It's just realtor. It's really funny, but there's a lot of, let's just say not everybody knows how to say the word realtor. And if we can't say it right, how do we expect our clients to say it right? Anyway, that might be more of a personal pet peeve. I'm not sure. Okay, let me break down some of the associations. So WeSERV is your local association. We deal with local issues with our municipalities. We connect within the state. You also are a member of Arizona Association of Realtors and the National Association of Realtors. So when you pay your fees every year, the local chapter, WeSERV, collects all those monies, but then we push the money back up towards the other 2 associations who are collecting money. Each level, each tier of those offer different benefits. And that's what I'll be talking about today is what benefits do you have as a realtor to be successful from day one? And this is my way to explain. So I am an old school superhero fan. I love superheroes. Unfortunately, I can tell from maybe the age group that this picture people don't know who these people are, but I'll get to that. Here's the thing, your clients, if you do things appropriately, you do things right with your clients, you are your client's superhero, right? If you do it right, you're their superhero. Like, oh my gosh, they were so amazing. they saved the day when things were getting really bad. They knew what to do. They knew who to contact, and they made it right. Well, superheroes also need a way for them to deal with big issues and come together. So WeSERV is the halls of justice where superheroes used to come together, especially Saturday morning around 9 in the morning. And we would talk about bigger issues, and we would do networking, and we would connect. So if you think about it, WeSERV is just the halls of justice for all of us realtor superheroes. And if you need a more current version, there you go. Okay, I don't want to leave anybody out. Okay. All right, keep calm, pay dues. The question that we get, the association gets to when they get that bill, like, what am I getting for all this money? Why got to pay an association? Well, here you go. You've got 135 of it stays here at the local level. 175 goes to AAR, and Arizona Association Realtors, their primary goal is to make sure that we are operating as one. So AAR is responsible and manages all of our forms for our contracts. So that's your forms, that's your addendums, that's all your legal advisories, all that comes from the state level. They also provide you something called Transaction Desk, which is where all your forms and your database is as you're managing your transactions. I will show you some of that briefly. What's really cool is a couple of years ago, when we brought on Transaction Desk, it included your electronic signature platform. So 4 or 5 years ago, we used to have our forms in one place. Then we had to have DocuSign in order to do that. And you'd be paying for both of those. Well, now we don't, it's a part of our dues already. And you have that already embedded. Another 150 goes to NAR, and they are working on NAR or the Realtor brand. You also have consumer ads and RAPAC. So when you fill out and you pay your fees through WeSERV, you'll also notice that there's a RAPAC voluntary of $30 and a critical needs of $10. Those are voluntary. I'm going to explain to you why that's important when I get to RAPAC. But for critical needs, think of it as a support network for other realtors. So we have a fund set up. If any one of our members falls on significant unplanned events, a major accident or a major injury, or the loss of a significant breadwinner in the family, you can apply for a certain amount of funds to help you as a realtor through that time. I think it's like $2,000 or whatever as a lifetime offering. But if you leave the $10 voluntary contribution, you're in essence helping your fellow realtors when things go bad. So how do you get the most out of your money every year? Well, let's talk benefits, because there's so many benefits. I'm going to go pretty quick through some of these slides because there's so many. So we have continuing education classes. I would say the majority of those classes are offered via Zoom, so you can take them at home, typically during normal hours, but they are expanding and going to start offering some classes either on the evenings or on a Saturday every once in a while. We also offer classes on creating your business. It's called Open for Business. And it's a series of classes that helps you create budgets, do geographic marketing in certain areas if you want. It will teach you how to create your business model and kind of help you grow as a profitable realtor. We have contract classes. We do have classes that just teach on social media or how to market. But the more these classes that we offer, it's just another opportunity for you to come together with other realtors, learn something new, and network and grow. As real estate is what you put into it is what you'll return. So if you're the realtor who's planning to just work a couple hours a day because it's super fun, well, you're going to see maybe 1 or 2 transactions a year. But if you pour into it and continue to push yourself and learn, you can make a killing, and your clients will appreciate a knowledgeable realtor working on their behalf. Questions? I ask questions because it gives me a chance to get a drink of coffee. So, okay, let's talk Transaction Desk. Transaction Desk is the benefit I mentioned from Arizona Association of Realtors, and I'll show you what it looks like here on the website in just a second. But all of our transaction forms, they're fillable, they're secure. If they ever update our forms, which they do, they usually take a look at 2 or 3 forms every year based on commentary from realtors throughout the year. But it's super easy to use. All the contracts, once you input some of the client information, it'll auto-populate into all the contracts for that file, and it just speeds things up. AuthentiSign allows you to push contract documents that are completed to your clients or to other people who need to sign documents, and kind of make that super fast, super easy. So for example, if I start working with a new buyer, I know I've got 4 forms that I need to send my buyer clients before I start sending them all the listings. And it's kind of like, okay, we're creating agency here. I need to know that I'm representing you. How are you okay accepting my representation? Now, here are the forms, but I can send those out in honestly about 8 minutes because I have templates already set up to show them. So I'm going to show you what that looks like here real quick. Okay, so here I'm logged on to the Arizona Association of Realtors. So it's the links in your packet. It's AAR online. And if I'm going to go into my transactions, I can go right into here, the transaction desk. I also have the AuthentiSign. If I just need a document signed real quick, I can just go on here. But if I go to transaction desk to give you an idea, I should have a test one I can show you real quick. So these are transactions that I'm working on. I've got them dated. I have them based on my brokerage requirements. But all I'm trying to show you is if I were to go in here and go into contacts, I can automatically start putting this guy's name. This guy's name is Bud Testing. I can put his address, mark it out. And then if I go into some of these contract documents, there we go. So if I go into my marketing contract, like a buyer broker exclusive, had I put all the information in, it auto populates his information. And then all my templates already have my brokerage, my name, certain things that I've already selected. They're already ready to go. So that's what I'm saying. This is super easy, super fast to use. And that's a benefit paid for through your Arizona Association of Realtors. So questions on that? Wow. You're really tired, or you're just in awe with all this amazing.
I have a question for you.
Okay, go ahead.
At my brokerage, we use SkySlope.
Okay.
Can you use, multiple, transaction platforms, or is it just best to stay with one? Because I haven't really even used Transaction Desk, just wasn't trained on that at all.
So you're a brokerage here in Arizona, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So SkySlope, your brokerage has already incorporated all the AAR forms. So that's no problem. If they use that, that's what they use. And they usually do something like that when they've got a kind of a longer history of utilizing it, or they find other benefits. There are other transaction management options. This one's paid for and it's pretty awesome. So if that's what your brokerage uses, hey, so be it.
I'm just curious.
Yeah, no worries. Anybody else? Okay, the next slide I show you is the one I was going to tell you that's pretty good for if you want to snap a photo. So let's get to that. All right. This is another benefit to you. As soon as my slides catch up with me. There we go. The tech helpline. The tech helpline is a benefit. I believe this one is paid for by NAR or AAR. I can't remember which one of them is paying for it, but this is free tech support for you and in essence, you and your family, but you're the one that has to call in. You would call in, you would give your National Association of Realtors number, and they can help you with anything. Like if you look at this list, my computer, my laptop, my smartphone, any tablet, if you're having issues with your hardware, software applications, printer help. I mean, if your printer is not working, you can call them and it's free tech support. And I have you snap a photo because what I do is I have a contact saved in my phone just for tech support. So even if I'm out and about with clients, I can get tech support if I need it. So they've got an online chat, they got email. I always call in just because it's super easy. And they work until like 7 o'clock Arizona time in the evenings, even though I think they're based out of Florida. So that's a cool benefit. I mentioned before the Open for Business classes. This is a series of classes that are available to you through the association. A lot of times they are taught by some of our affiliates. So that's title companies, escrow lenders. They will host and teach some of these classes on business planning, buyer consultation, understanding contracts from start to finish and the timelines associated with that. Learning about geographic farming. So if you want to market to a specific subdivision for the next couple of years, they can pull data lists and get you all the email address. I'm sorry, not email, all the mailing addresses. So you can send postcards or whatever you want. There's a class on how to do open houses, negotiation, relational selling, all this stuff. So those are free. Those classes are offered throughout the year. They don't normally meet any of these CE requirement or continuing education requirements, but they are beneficial. And again, if you're just getting started, that's another good opportunity. Here's the thing, if you are new and you're only working with 1 or 2 clients and your day's not full, take classes, learn now. Okay. We have Real Mart stores at the West chapter in Peoria and the Chandler office in, the Chandler Southeast Valley. And I believe the Casa Grande campus also has some Real Mart items. This is like a Circle K for realtors. They've got posts, they've got signs, they got little writers, they got maps, closing gifts. So if you ever need anything immediately, a lot of times I come in there if I needed like a writer to go on top of my signs on listings, you know, like 5-bedroom home with a guest house, whatever. Okay, so we have some networking opportunities. Some of these are relatively new to the association, but these are awesome. If you have any interest in any of these particular networking opportunities, they're all listed here. I mean, you have Hispanic Association of Real Estate Professionals, Veteran Association of Real Estate Professionals, which I'm actually a part of that one. Women's Council for Realtor. I'll tell you, Women's Council for Realtor is huge group of people, of realtors supporting one another. So these are all opportunities for you to get connected if you want to get into realtors. We also have a significant amount of committees. So if you want to get involved at the association, I'll talk more about what some of those committees are. I got 30 minutes left, so we're good. Network, like this is how you learn. Let me go back. Again, if I leave PowerPoints up too long, some of you doze off. So real estate is a relational business. So it's not just relational with your clients, it's also relational with your peers, with realtors. It's relational with the affiliates who help you run your business. You'll notice that the more you reach out to some of the affiliates, the faster your business starts to see activity, the faster you get excited about what your business, your real estate company could be. But we have networking opportunities for you to come and kind of get to know some of those people, so you're not out on an island. So we have happy hours, and everybody loves free drinks, so that's cool. Those probably happen 2, 3, 4 times a month. We have home tour. If you're wanting to get a listing, then maybe get some feedback on listings. We have home tours. We do golf tournaments, family picnics. We do car shows, motorcycle rallies. Let's see what else I got here. Yeah, I'm trying to make sure I don't miss any of these things. All right, I'll go back to the PowerPoint. Any questions before okay, there's lots of stuff. Okay, so member involvement. So we have the networking events. We also have classes. Let me get this to work. It doesn't want to. Okay. Relationships. So building relationships. Again, I've got lenders that, when a buyer, I start working with a buyer client and I know I need to get a pre-qualification. Every brokerage has their own policy. So make sure you talk to your broker about what that policy is. But when I got a new client who needs to get pre-qualified, I'm going to send them the contact information for 2 or 3 lenders. And then if we're working on a transaction with sellers, I'm going to get that seller in contact with a title escrow so we can start work on the title work. And then when we get into it under contract, we're working with home inspectors or warranty people. So those relationships matter. And I will tell you who you're referring matters. You can't just grab a name and number and say, here, call this person. They're kind of expecting you to have those relationships or have vetted some of those people that you're referring. So these are some of the committees that WeSERV offers. Again, we're a large community, a large not brokers. We're a large association with 20,000 members. There's a lot of members who want to be a part of the association, not just be a member of the association. So these committees are great ways for you to work in areas or volunteer in areas that you have an interest in, and be a part of the industry in a different way. So we have the affiliate committee, we have a commercial network. So is anybody here wanting to get into commercial or land transactions? Couple hands, okay. So the commercial network, they tend to meet every quarter. And when they do their meetings every quarterly, they tend to do about an hour of training and kind of a market update in commercial. So that's a great opportunity. The community outreach committees, there's multiple committees because of the multiple communities that we come alongside, but you'll see that they break out like, okay, what can we do for the city of Mesa or the city of Chandler or Peoria or Buckeye? Oh, well, they've got this thing and they're doing a parade. Can we put a float together? You know, whatever. That's an opportunity. If you really love numbers, there's a finance committee. We have Global Business and Alliance Council. So if you ever want to get into international real estate, check out the Global Business and Alliance Council. That's a committee that talks about international real estate and making those international alliances. Government affairs, I'm going to talk about RAPAC, which is your political action committee. The government affairs committee, as we get through election cycles, they will interview and vet the candidates that are up for election. And we are going to ask them questions and identify the candidates that are realtor or home ownership friendly. And then after they go through that interview process, they will publish before you vote. Hey, here's who the realtor party prefers. We don't care red or blue or whatever, or independent. We care about, does this candidate support realtor initiatives or home ownership? We have the grievance committee. So if there's ever an issue with code of ethics violation, grievance committee is the first step in that. Then it's followed by the professional standards committee. We have a leadership development committee. So if you want to get into leadership, that's available. We have a YPN network. We're the only chapter, we're the only association in the state of Arizona with a young professionals network committee. And it's pretty large and it's pretty amazing. A lot of times when they have their meetings, they will bring in some of the realtors who are killing it in the industry, and they'll just have a forum of Q&A. So you can learn from those people who are doing it right, and you can grow your business just by kind of rubbing elbows with those people. So the YPN network is cool. Questions? Okay. So I mentioned the political action committee. I actually have a video I'm going to share here. So let me get that up. There we go. Here for this. Okay, make sure your speakers are up so you can hear it.
Can we talk? Can we just get real and talk? Imagine a world where you couldn't post a for sale sign in a client's yard. Or suppose your independent contractor status was jeopardized and you were required to punch a clock at your broker's office. Or what if Congress abolished the mortgage interest deduction? How would it affect your business? Look, they say avoid talking politics at parties, but these scenarios just might happen without the Realtor Party. The Realtor Party. It's not the Republican Party or the Democratic Party or even a gala. It's the advocacy arm of the Realtor organization that fights for you and your business. As a Realtor, you are on the front line, helping Americans realize the dream of home ownership. You feel the pressure of onerous taxes, government overreach, and regulations that get it wrong. But you are not alone. Through the Realtor Party, we support candidates at home, in the state capitol, and in Washington, D.C., who understand your business needs. They champion our issues so more people can become homeowners. From protecting the mortgage interest deduction, to defeating unreasonable rental restrictions, to supporting balanced growth initiatives. The Realtor Party is there, and the Realtor Party is effective. But we can't do it alone. We need your help to vote, act, and invest. Vote, act, invest. Supporting the Realtor Party is something we should all talk about, and frankly, something we should all do.
Okay, so I try not to be too political myself when I'm speaking, so I let the video do it, but realize that those who contribute to the RAPAC, to our Realtor Political Action Committee, the funds are in there for when we need it. About 5 years ago, to give you reference, we needed to protect ourselves. We needed to protect the realtor industry. There was, we put a proposition up for Arizona vote, Prop 126 back at that time, if you want to look at it. And what it was is it voted to remove the ability for politicians to tap into service fees or the service industry for taxation. So it was a way to prevent those of us who are taxed and paid by compensated through our services. So the way we're paid, it's not taxed like all the other entities and businesses. So it was a way for us to protect ourselves and our income and continue to run our business the way we want it without the municipalities being able to jump in and start tagging in and capturing basically our money for, to provide for ourselves. So anyway, that's Prop 126. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time in politics because no one really likes that. So questions? Okay. You guys are making it pretty easy, which I'm okay with. That's fine. All right, let me get this back down. Oh, I gotta stop. Okay. And stop share. Okay, so we do have marketing home tours. A lot of times the marketing home tours are great if you've got a home that's a listing that's maybe gone stale. What they'll do is they'll set up these marketing home tours based on geographic area. So you might have something, okay, we're doing one in Glendale. If you got a listing in Glendale, they'll put together all the realtors who want to be a part of this tour. The realtors will then go and show their listings to the other realtors in that marketing tour and get feedback. And really what it is there are times where you're working with sellers who are stubborn either to make repairs, stubborn on price, or they just want more feedback because maybe they're not getting a whole lot of showings. Well, these marketing home tours, you go through with your peers, and then you give feedback on everyone else's listings, and they give you feedback on your listing so that you can go back to your client. And I will tell you that if you've been telling your seller, listen, you got to paint these putrid colored walls, or you need to change the carpet because your cat, made a mess of it, and they won't do it. While getting 7 or 8 other realtors like, I wouldn't take my clients in this house, it smells disgusting. That might help because now you got somebody else saying the same thing you've been telling them. So that's one of the reasons why I use marketing home tour. If you're new to the industry, going to a marketing home tour, it's a great way to figure out how realtors and homeowners are staging their homes, how they're preparing their homes, and kind of what to expect and what works. I will tell you, the first time I went on a marketing home tour, I didn't have the listing. I just wanted to see it. And I found a listing sign in the front yard that I thought was the coolest ever. I snapped a photo of it and I took it to my printer and I said, I want something like this with my branding. And that's what I gained out of it. You never know what you're going to learn, but the more you engage and the more you involve in the industry, the faster you'll see success. Going back to RAPAC, for every dollar that you donate to RAPAC, 70% of it, or 70 cents for every dollar, stays here. 30 cents will go to the national level political issue. So that. Again, these websites are going to be in your packet, but I do want to highlight some of these. I already showed you AAR online. Realtor.org is the industry-facing one. So if you go to realtor.com, that's where the public-facing version is. So you don't want to go to that. That's where all the listings are at. Realtor.org, you can log in and you can have pre-produced marketing materials for you and your industry where they've already got flyers or trifold brochures or open house signs, and all you're doing is kind of dragging and dropping photos and your brokerage icons and your name and your contact information. So that's realtor.org. WeSERV.realtor, that's our association website. It's probably what you use to register for classes. You should get familiar with that website. NAR RPR. I am going to show you this because it's one of my favorites. Let me go stop share. I need to show you my screen. There we go. Okay, so does anybody want to know what the value of their house might be? If you want to give me an address, I'll type it in real quick. Anybody?
20060 North Shadow Mountain Drive.
Shadow Mountain Drive. Woo. Did I have that right? Let's see. That one there? Similar? We're good? Okay, I want to create a report. I want you to see how fast this is. Run report. Let's do that. Okay, so now I'm running a report, and I'm going to show you that after this video.
As a realtor, you want the absolute best for your clients and customers. After all, buying or selling a property is one of the biggest decisions they'll make. But how can you provide them with the best information to make that decision? Typically, you could go to one place to get a few property facts, then to another place to research the local schools, and still another for local demographics. And for an even deeper dive, you could venture through several more places to learn the property history, what people are saying about the neighborhood, mortgage information, and so on. We understand you need to accurately assess what's best for your clients and customers, but the truth is, your time and money is being wasted tracking down all these facts from so many different places. That's where Realtors Property Resource comes in. RPR is the National Association of Realtors' exclusive nationwide property database for realtors. With access to over 160 million properties, RPR gives you access to the most comprehensive reports that are sure to inform and impress even the most demanding clients. No matter what your specialty is, RPR has partnered with hundreds of sources, including MLSs and CIEs across the country, to provide you with the most current, accurate, and valuable information in one centralized place. You will discover everything from school reports to census, demographics, tax data, foreclosures, mortgage information, mapping, distress data, flood zones, historic data, and so much more. That way, when your clients and customers come to you with every single question, you'll have every single answer. And because RPR is included in your NAR member dues, there is no additional cost. RPR, bringing realtors to the next level.
Okay, so that report that I just ran before the video is now done. And I only wanted to do that so you could see how fast this RPR is. So Realtors Property Resource is a great source if you're getting ready for a listing, if you want to show your buyers what's important about a house they might be considering buying. But I use this report if I'm getting ready for a listing presentation for sellers so I can show them that this isn't my first day. And what's cool is once you set everything up in the website with all of your branding information, hopefully you can see this. Like I've got my photo, my brokerage, all of my information. Well, now I've got the report. So when I click on that button, it took 4 minutes for this entire report. So this is a 26-page report that shows information with the current estimated value, how confident they are in that value and that price, change in the last month, change in the last 12 months. Here's property facts about that house, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,200 square feet. It's there. If I want to look at, okay, AARP's livability index. Okay, well, it's right in the middle. These are historical photos from the most recent MLS listing that will auto-populate. So if something is active, the new photos will be there. This will show comparables that were used, the property history report. I think you guys kind of get an idea. It shows information on schools. This is neighborhoods. So let me get rid of this. So having resources but not using them is just wasteful. So this is one of my favorites. I love the NAR RPR report. I could probably spend 45 minutes teaching a class on it, but I don't think that's why we're here today. So let me go back to my PowerPoint.
I have a quick question.
Yep,
do you
go
use your same like login information for WeSERV for that?
No, RPR is its own website. So you will use we call it your NERDS number. So your national
Yeah.
realtor number,
Yep.
because that's how you get verified to utilize it. So when you first set everything up, they're going to ask for your NERDS number, your email address, and then you'll set up a separate login. But it's its
Cool.
own.
Thank you for that information. I have doing all this information, getting all this information, and this is the first time I've ever heard of this.
Yeah.
That was really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem.
So I have one more question.
Yep. Go Brian and then Sarah.
Okay. So how do you think this compares? I mean, like a lot of clients will go ahead and do the Zillow thing and get the estimate of what the value is.
Oh,
How well do they compare with other places, other sites?
So that's a great question. I'm going to put my screen back up while I kind of answer your question. Then I'm going to show you what I do. And again, everyone's brokerage probably does things a little bit different. I'm just going to kind of show you where did it go? I got to find my screen. That's right. There we go. I'm going to show you what I do. So I use RPR, the Realtor Property Resource site that I just showed you, as a initial starting point. But I will tell you that running your own comparables is more important. What was that address again? Let's see. What was that address again?
20060 North Shadow Mountain Drive.
Oh, geez. All right. So I don't think there's anything that beats actually running your own comparables. So I'm in our MLS system. So if you go into your MLS, you click on menu, and then I go to the monsoon, and I'll run comps from here because I want to get my hands on some of this stuff. So I don't have a whole lot of listings within a half mile. So let's see if I can find more listings. So there. So I'm going to go in now and make my search more refined based on that actual house. But the RPR website, I will say, so remember in the report, it showed here. I'm going into here. So remember in this report, the second page on here where it shows price, it also shows a confidence report. So the more of these black stars that I've filled out, they feel confident in that price because they have enough comparables. So if there's only a couple comparables, or maybe there was one comparable from a year ago, you're going to see like 1 or 2 stars. But I like running my own comparables because I need to be able to reference to the seller. I looked at these listings. These 4 didn't have a pool. Your house has a pool. So I'm only using more realistic comps. So you can't use it as this is the number and no one else should deviate from this number, right? Because everyone's going to run their own comps. So your brokerage might have a process for run comparables. Make sure you have that conversation with them. But I love it because it's a great way for you to show all of this information. And then it gives them, your clients, confidence in what you're doing. Like, ooh, come back and tell me. Because what I'll do is I was like, take a look at this report. This is a great starting point, but we really need to dial into your house. So if I can come and we can dial in, there we go. So Sarah, you had a question too?
Yeah. So is this for nationwide as well, or just for Arizona?
Yeah, NARPR
Okay,
is a nationwide service. And if you were to type in the property address for a commercial property, you would go to the commercial version of NARPR. So it will automatically figure out what you're looking for.
So, and then if you're looking for land, that would be under the commercial side of it? Okay.
Absolutely.
And then how often do they keep it updated?
By the minute.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's pulling all the resources just like everything else from our MLSs. Okay, I've got 8 minutes and I've got a bunch of slides. So I'm sorry. I can talk all day. All right, let's go back. I already showed you that video. Listen, if you're going to have social media, you need to keep it up to date. Like there's Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Some realtors are using Snapchat. Some realtors are using TikTok. That's all great. Whatever you have set up for your business, just make sure you're actually utilizing it and keeping it up to date. Don't let a social media platform that you have for your brokerage go stale. You'd be better off cutting it out if you're not using it. But there's a lot of affiliates who teach like lunch and learns on how to use social media properly to gather new clients or to market your listings. They're usually not for CE credit because it's so specialized and it doesn't really accomplish what ADRE is looking for. But it's a great way for you to grow your business. The other thing, this is what when I bring on a new realtor to my brokerage, I hand them 500 business cards, and my goal is you have 6 months to get rid of these. That's a lot of people to meet. And so what I tell them is, take your business cards. I know it's kind of old school. Hand 3 cards to everybody you meet. Introduce yourself. Say, when you run out of business cards, call me back. I'll give you more. But you got to start growing your sphere of influence. You got to start growing your business and letting people know what you are doing. So talk to your neighbors, talk to your relatives, talk to whoever you're in contact with on a daily basis. Wear your name badge everywhere. If you have a name badge, if you don't have a name badge, get a name badge with your name and your brokerage, and be that expert. You would be surprised wearing a badge at a grocery store how many people want to talk to you about real estate. It's an easy thing that everybody's talking about or wants to talk about, especially considering, like I said at the beginning, the wildest ride in the wilderness is real estate for sure. Continue to take classes, continue to learn. They're online, they're in person. Not only does WeSERV offer classes, but AAR offers classes consistently via Zoom. Here are places where you can take classes. You've got local boards, you've got our association, you got ARMLS. That's another thing. If you're still new to the industry, ARMLS, which is where your listings are kept, they have training in person. They also have a bunch of tutorials. So if you need to figure out, hey, how do I go into Monsoon and do a tax search? They've got it broken down into like a 48-second tutorial. So it's not like you have to watch an hour long when you're only looking for a quick snippet of information on how to do something. Your brokerage might have training, title companies, lenders, webinars. Does somebody have a question? I thought I heard. Okay. If you want to also grow your knowledge, NAR has something called the Commitment to Excellence, so C2EX. It is a seriously large opportunity for you to learn about all these different categories. I would say if you went through the entire process to get your C2EX certification, it would probably take you a good 40, 50 hours. But they touch on real estate law, code of ethics, Article 10 specifically of the code of ethics, which is discrimination and fair housing. You've got advocacy, trust and integrity, technology, the areas of practice in real estate, client service, all this stuff is C2EX. So that's an opportunity for you to learn more from home with something that NAR is pushing pretty heavily. My next one, I actually have a video, but I think the video is out of date. So I'm just going to kind of explain this to you. Realtors are weird. Realtors are weird in this aspect though. We are willing to take a phone call from somebody we don't know and get excited, who wants to meet us at a vacant house. We don't know who they are. We've never been there, but we're going to meet them at a vacant house, open the door and walk in with somebody that we don't know. Okay. You need to be smart. You need to realize that there are weirdos out there, and don't be one of them. You need to protect yourself. So there are precautions that you should take to make sure you're not taken advantage of financially or physically. So make sure your processes include keeping you safe. So some of that is knowing who you're meeting at properties. So pre-qualifying buyers before you start showing houses, especially by yourself. If you get pre-qualified, you can match up some of the names and the faces on an ID card, things like that. That's important. But don't take a phone call, drive and go meet somebody at a house just because you're excited to get a transaction done. That's not safe. There's actually a guy here in the local valley. We call him the foot guy because he keeps sending pictures or asking for foot pictures from realtors. For real. It's not a joke. It's for real. So be safe. There are brokerages who will teach classes. There are classes all around on how realtors can be safe, some self-defense stuff. And I'm not talking about, hours and hours of punching and stuff. It's about getting out of that situation quickly, having escape routes, Just be smart. Questions on that? There are apps too where you can have an app set up where you have certain contacts that are designated that if you're nervous, you click on a yellow button and it contacts those people that you predetermined. And if you click a red button, it notifies those people and it also calls the police and gets them to where your phone's at. So if you need something, there are apps like that out there. I just don't have a whole lot of time to dig into it. So stay out of trouble. I like to point out, hey, by the way, once you became a realtor, you are now bound by the 17 articles of the Code of Ethics on day one. So if you don't know what those articles are, you should learn the Code of Ethics. You want to make sure that you're compliant. ADRE, the Arizona Department of Real Estate, it's no joke. Number one violation is playing with other people's money, commingling. That happens a lot with property management because you're dealing with security deposits, misrepresentation, disclosure. These are all just common violations with ADRE. Criminal conviction. So if you have a criminal conviction, you have to provide notice to the DRE. Incompetence, not knowing is not okay, unfortunately. Forgetting who hired you, pretending to be a lawyer. Remember, if you're not a lawyer, you're not a lawyer. And when, let me come back to that. Woo, I gotta stop. Well, I'm not doing the screen showing. Oh, you don't need to know that. Anyway, so what was I saying? I was saying, if you don't, I lost my train of thought. Anyway, if you don't know what you don't know, you need to have either a mentor or a broker that you can go and ask questions. Okay. If you're not sure, figure out the answers. Don't just hope and pray or guess. It's not a good option. This industry, I will tell you, here's one of the things that realtors who have been in the business for a while want you to know. If you're newer, forgive me. Then again, if you've been in the industry, you should probably hear this too. The top 3 things that other realtors want you to know. Anyone want to guess what the first one is? What other realtors want you to know? Okay. Answer your phone. Number 1, answer your phone. Number 2, make sure your voicemail is not full so that if you don't answer your phone, they can leave you a voicemail. And number 3, just answer your phone, because it's really frustrating if you're trying to show a house and you can't get in and the listing agent's not going to answer the phone or answer their text, or vice versa. You're trying to send a contract out and you can't get a hold of the realtors and you just want to get details. And be nice. There are realtors who allow their ego to take control of their business plan, and it's not a good thing. Realize that we're all people. Realize we all have families and people that we're trying to represent properly. So represent the industry as you would hope the industry should be, and make sure that we're not giving ourselves a black eye by the way we behave out in public. Questions? I told you, there's still more I could go over. If I had another hour, I could fill it, but that's your new member orientation. I sent you the links because there's an exhaustive amount of information available for you, but take classes while you're waiting. If you're still needing to get your continuing ed, or if you just got your license, take classes now. Questions?
I have a question. You mentioned a packet. Is this something that we're getting emailed, or is this just what we access on the website?
So you should have got it to get the link for this Zoom meeting via email. You would see, here's your class new member orientation. Attached to that, there were 3 documents. One was the Realtor Pledge. One was my student handout. And the third was my favorite websites. And there's 12 links there. So you should have that in your email. Everyone else is nodding their head, Lillian. So you got to go check.
Yeah, I didn't get the link. So I had a call this morning and she emailed me the link.
Okay. Yeah, you're good. Anyone else? Questions? Hey, kill it. There is no reason why realtors should be annoyed by another realtor in the industry. Listen, there's plenty of business for all of us. All I ask is that you leave a positive image of us as realtors with every one of your clients. Okay, be nice to each other, be respectful, and go kill it. It's a fun industry. It's a fun business. That's all I got. Lisa, you got anything else, or are we done? Boom.
I don't have anything else. Thank you, everyone. Anybody have any questions before we go?
All right.
Real quick. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay. You guys have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you, Darren.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everyone.
Thank
Have
you,
a
you
great
as well.
day.
Thank you, Lisa. I'll see you around.